Today on Outside the Box Reviews, we are taking a look at the McFarlane Walking Dead Series 3. And these are Michonne's pet zombie walkers. Now, I talked about in the review of Michonne that I was tempted to get these guys. They go with her, they make a cool image, but they were barely even in the show, and if you go look at the comic adaptation, they're not in there much more either. Sorry, spoiler alert, I guess, but really not that big of a deal at this point, I don't think. So I thought about it, I went back and forth, and I realized having one Walking Dead figure was kind of out of place. If I could have these and pose them with her, one of the cool images from the show, then at least I'd have a decent little display instead of just one weird figure at a weird scale with a stupid McFarlane weird height. And if you saw that review, I absolutely loved the Michonne figure. Do I love these zombies just as much? Well, let's take a closer look. Each of these pet walkers comes with a little display base here. It's just a circle with a single peg off to the side. It works, lets the figure stand. One disadvantage is it's not a very thick stand, but we'll put these guys standing a little taller than they should be on a flat surface, so they'll be that little bit extra taller than Michonne than they should be, which is a little bit of annoyance. Pet number 1 here is fairly well detailed. They have a lot of just bloody gashes all over them. They look really chewed up and just messed up like zombies should. The skin tone's pretty well done. The blood effects are well done, though McFarlane's pretty good with the blood effects. The head sculpt isn't bad either. It has those very sad walker eyes. The jaw's all screwed up and messed up. Some good detailing on the hair and all that. The profile isn't particularly strong, but it is a decent looking figure. Look here on the other side. He's got his zombie arms all torn up and messed up and just bleh. He's got his boxers sticking up out of his jeans. His jeans coming down. They're all dirty and bloody and gross. And he's got his shoes down here at the bottom. Some good detail here on the back as well. One thing, looking at source images from these characters, I don't think they had quite so many wounds and things on them. I think this is very much in that McFarlane vein of, we're going to add stuff to our characters. We're going to make them more gruesome and nasty than they need to be because we're McFarlane. The other walker over here, not too bad looking as well. I kind of prefer the head on this one. I like the way the jaw looks on him. It's kind of those glazed over eyes, the wounds all over. Really cool. This one stands a little more hunched over all the time. Once again, plenty of damage to the body, torn up flesh. All the good stuff you expect in your zombies. He looks more emaciated and really thin, which is cool. He's actually missing some fingers here, which is kind of neat as well. Torn up to the stubs, bones sticking out. Fairly impressive sculpt here. Lower body, same thing. Different color underwear sticking up. Jeans. Slightly different pose for the legs, but not much different. For articulation, both these figures have ball-jointed heads. They can kind of swivel at the upper arm, though not very well. Can bend at the elbow, rotate at the wrist, rotate at the waist, and then rotate at the upper thigh. And for clarification, this is pet number 1. And the one we actually looked at first here is pet number 2. But as anyone who's watched the show or read the comic knows, these guys don't look like this. These guys are missing some parts in the show and in the comics. So why don't we have Michonne jump in and give us a hand here? Now that's more like it. Both these guys have removable arms and removable jaws. That's why the arm articulation isn't very good up the upper arm. They all sever off and leave them looking like they do in the show. And we can see this is how these guys are really supposed to look. Pet number 1, he has those big flapping jowls that are all bloody and gross, looking a lot more true to how he does. The jaw in there also looks awkward, and I have to say his jaw is very hard to position inside his mouth. I'm not even sure if I had it right, but it is such a pain to peg in there. There's little pegs that are really hard to see, and you gotta get it just right. And of course we have the bloody stumps where his arms go, which are well sculpted. I do like that there's a blood trickle going down his side to kind of represent where they were cut off. Pet 2, if you could see here at the bottom, actually has 2 little peg holes. And his lower jaw just pegs right in place, and it's really easy to get in there and stays in pretty well. So I wish they would have used that method for both figures. But overall, Pet 2 is a lot easier to transform. And then, of course, when you're going to go out on the town with your pet zombies, you got to have some accessories. Each zombie has its metal collar. Not bad, it's real chain, real metal. I wish they would have done something to weather this up a little bit to make it look more used and nasty, maybe put some blood stains around this ring, but it's a cheap and effective way to get the look down. It's also very hard for Michonne to hold on to this chain, so it really makes it hard to get her looking like she does in the show. To attach this, you do have to remove the heads, you pull them off the ball joint, and you slip it over the neck. Now each zombie comes with a backpack. Zombie number 1 has this one, just kind of a big duffel bag. Little side backpack here, some silver detail on the buckles, which is nice. This area up here is not exactly rubbery, but a little softer than normal. Once again, silver buckle detail. This also, you have to have his head off to get it on him, or at least I have to. It's really tough to get it on. They're not easy. If this was a more pliable rubber, it would be an easier time, but it's just pliable enough to slide it on there. I actually like zombie number 2's bag a little better. It's 2 bags kind of stuck together. There's a cord tying the 2 together around there. It is sculpted in there. Same kind of harness we had on the first one. Little sheriff's logo here on the side. And there's a slit at the top here where we actually have a shotgun that you can remove. And you can even see a zipper detail on there as well. For its size, the shotgun's really well done. The colors are pretty nice. It's black plastic with some brown paint detailing on it. Nothing phenomenal, but nothing too bad. Like I said, it's a very small gun, so I wouldn't expect tons out of it. I think the detail they put into it is totally fine. The plus side too is you can leave it in the backpack to sit there and be on display, or you can give it to one of your other figures. Either have Michonne or one of her allies or enemies using a shotgun. And here we have Michonne with both her pets suited up and ready to go, both fully in their backpacks and chains. Now I probably sat here with the camera off for a good 10 minutes trying to get the chain into Michonne's hand to have it on display for you guys the way it would be. I can't get it. I got it once before, and that was even just one of the chains. I had to kind of drape the other chain on top of it, and had this whole weird convoluted thing, and then one of the figures fell over and it ruined everything. And I don't know if you're ever going to be able to get a good display out of these just because of that fact. As for the figures themselves, I don't recommend them. There's not very good articulation here. The detailing is not nearly as fine or as nice as Michonne. With the human character, with the non-messed up character, McFarlane excelled. They did a great job. But when they got the chance to do gore and blood, I feel like they overdid it, kind of like they always seem to. The accessories are okay, but they're really hard to get on and off. Just overall, not a great thing. And these 2 figures are so very similar, it's why I did them as one review, because there's no real difference, and you have to buy both of them for the set. There's no real reason to have one. If you're going to get one, you almost have to get the other. Yeah, definitely don't recommend them. I'm not too happy with this purchase. Glad I have some zombies in a way, but I could have done without them. Make sure you check out Outside the Box Reviews on Facebook. There'll be a link below, and until next time, it's been another Outside the Box Reviews. Stay tuned for more to come.